Hi, Suzie.
Hi, Roy.
I'm so happy to be with you today.
Oh, likewise. I'm so happy to see you as well.
Thank you. Today, we're going to talk about aging well, but what does it mean in practice?
Yeah, so how do we stay strong? How do we maintain a level of independence and health and good attitude about growing older?
Exactly. So, we're talking about mobility, fitness, and building better habits.
So, welcome to the Great Take. Today, we're joined by Candace Cima, a businesswoman, artist, and former model who has made a name for herself as an influencer through her channels Life in My 70s. She shares her workouts, her diet, and of course, her fashion. To start, Candace, we're so excited to talk to you today. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and the work that you do?
Well, truthfully, up until I started doing this Instagram and influencer thing, I was in the business world for pretty much all of my working career. I owned a senior housing community for over 32 years,
Wow.
and I sold that in 2020, which is around the same time that I started finding out about Instagram and heard the word influencer for the first time.
So is this a quarantine project for you?
I am looking at it.
Well, I mean, there's so many people that you hear of that start this like amazing
They
business
did.
during
Yeah.
the quarantine because out of necessity, and
Yeah.
then it's flourished into something really beautiful. So,
I didn't plan to start a business at all. I was reading an article in a magazine and it was talking about influencers. And I'm embarrassed to say that I had never heard the term before.
uh-huh.
And so after I read the article, I started thinking about it. And I've always had this real almost obsession with aging and how people look at aging. And I thought, well, maybe this is someplace that I
Mhm.
could talk about my feelings about it and share my ideas. And so I put up a post thinking I was just going to talk to a few people on Instagram about the subject of aging and people's attitudes toward aging. And before I knew it, it had actually turned into a full-time job.
Wow.
That's actually really fascinating.
Yeah. So, at what point in your life did you become fascinated with aging? And like, what was that for you?
Really young. I remember as a child watching my mother's friends and wondering why this woman aged this way and this woman aged this way.
Mm-hmm.
And what could this woman have done different so that this didn't happen to her? And I have no idea why, as such. I was probably 14 when I started noticing it.
Mm.
Why I noticed it, I have no idea. But my whole life, the idea of aging has just fascinated me.
Hmm.
And then as I got older, the idea that aging was looked at so negatively when it's probably the most natural thing that could ever happen to anybody, I couldn't understand that. And I still remember as a young mother being in the checkout lines at the grocery store and seeing the headlines on the magazines that would say, how to look your best at age 30, 40, and 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there thinking, so what? You're dead after that? It doesn't matter how you look. What happened to the rest of the population? So, yeah, I don't know why. I can't answer why. I've always had this fascination with aging, but pretty much spent my whole life looking at it and trying to understand it and exploring different ideas and different ways of looking at it. And
Mm-hmm.
when I started doing the Instagram and the influencer, the social medias, my whole goal was really to find a way to some small way to change the dialogue related to aging
Mm.
so that it could have a different positive look. Because from what I was seeing, the women that were aging were not really happy about it, and consequently, they weren't happy with themselves.
Right.
Also, the fact that countries like Japan, they revere their older people. I mean, they
Mhm.
are
Exactly.
respected and treated so differently.
Right.
And
Right.
here it's like, oh, she's old, you know.
Yeah.
I think it is gradually changing, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Right. I kind of feel like we're conditioned to believe that when we get older, that things just automatically go south.
Yeah.
You don't exercise anymore. You don't need to wear makeup anymore. You don't need to dress up in any type of way anymore.
Roy, you
And
don't
it's
have
just,
to wear makeup anymore.
Okay.
yes, I do.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, you couldn't resist. That was a good one. I'll take it. And that was a great one.
Magazines, you don't have to. Anybody over 30 or 40 doesn't have to worry about makeup anymore.
There you
That's
go.
true. That's very true. Well, I just hide myself behind a beard, so it's working. But as far as like maintaining a healthy lifestyle and kind of breaking that conditioning, so was that your passion? And that was like, how did you want to start expressing and helping people to kind of have like a better quality of life as we as we get older? Like, how did you really just start to begin walking down that road and wanting to share everything?
Well, I think it was 32 years of owning a senior housing community. I mean,
Okay.
when I bought the land, I was a land developer. When I bought the land to develop this housing community, I was trying to figure out, what did I want my market to be? Did I want it to be, young couples with families because it was rental, before they buy a house? And I knew immediately I wanted it to be a senior housing community. I wanted to provide my idea of what a really good senior housing community would be. And then being able to do that and know these people for all those years, the people that moved in and aged and passed away, and the next group would move in, it gave me such a personal view of all the different ways that people age. I could have one resident that was 75 and they were behaving like they were 90. And then I had other residents that were 90 and they thought nothing of driving 9 hours to Virginia. I had, it was such a vast array of attitudes. I just found it, again, very fascinating.
Wow, that's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Because we need that better conditioning. We need that better understanding of that it's okay when you age, that there's still a great life to live,
Yeah,
and I feel like, yeah.
So what do you find is have you found a few things or one thing, or what is the difference between those two groups of people that you just named, the people who think they're older than they are or act older than they are versus the ones who, a 90-year-old that has no problem driving to Virginia?
attitude.
Okay.
I really think it comes down to the people's attitudes about aging. And that's why I think it's so important for the young generation to see my generation having a different attitude toward it.
I agree. It's very
Um,
inspiring.
It is inspiring.
Yeah.
But why is movement and mobility so important as we get older?
Well, because it's part of your health. And if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. It's really hard to have a good attitude if you don't have your health. So I think the most important thing is to stay healthy so that you can enjoy your later years.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything else, attitude is everything. It's so important in caring about staying healthy, caring about having goals in later years. Um, Attitude means you have to accept that you're aging and not be constantly fighting against it. There are some people that resent so much that they're aging. There was one guy in my senior housing, and he was always saying, if I'd known I was going to live so darn long, I'd have taken better care of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that before.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that one as well. What are your favorite everyday hacks for health and fitness?
Oh, I think I'd have to say the basics are, eat well and exercise and all of that. But I think the basic hack is keep moving. Don't, every time you can have movement in your day, every time you can be adding movement to your day, that's so important. That's something you can do all day, every day. A woman can continue exercising, or she can also put a lot of movement into her normal daily activities.
Right.
I really think that movement is the most important thing. Eating well and staying physically fit mean you have to keep moving in order to stay healthy.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, because
Yeah.
I've been out of my routine for a while now, and I can feel the difference when I'm not doing my routine every day. And that's just simple movement. It's yoga and exercise and all this other stuff, or just simply going on a walk and everything. And my body just feels off. So it's vital. It's important that we keep moving. That's
It
very,
is,
very
yeah.
important. Yeah.
So sometimes when people hear like you got to keep your body moving and all that, they think, well, I've got to go to the gym or I've got to go to water aerobics or, all of those things, which are good things. But how much do you think aging comes down to small daily habits that are normal, functional habits? Like, can you talk about the difference between the two and how they maybe work together?
Well, genetics only plays about 10 to 30% in how you're going to age. The rest is your lifestyle.
Mm.
So I think people don't realize how much control they have over their aging process.
Right.
Unfortunately, so many people think there's nothing you can do about aging. Well, basically, there isn't anything you can do about aging, but how you age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely, you have a lot of control over how you age. And one of the things I always tell women is always plan ahead and prepare for your next decade. If you're in your 30s, who do you want to be in your 40s?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And no matter how
That's really
old you
good.
are, if you're in your 70s, who do you want to be in your 80s and 90s? Do you want to be someone who can still do all the things they love to do and can still participate in life and achieve new goals and stay healthy? Or do you want to let aging happen to you instead of taking control of it and having it go in the direction you'd like to have it go in?
Yeah. I hear you talking, a lot about attitude as like the foundation for all of this. Do you have some thoughts on how someone can cultivate a good attitude? Like, I'm in my midlife now, and if I've had a negative view of aging, a negative attitude towards it up until now, what would you say to someone like in their midlife years or even in their older years to change their mindset about aging?
Well, I think the first thing they have to understand they have control.
Mm-hmm.
That aging isn't just happening to them and it's something that they can't do anything about. Once you know you can control a situation and that you do have some level of control, then it's a lot easier to get enthusiastic about it, to be happy about it, to look forward to it. I think as long as you know that you can create what you want to create in your life, you're still going to be very invested in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that kind of goes along with staying motivated.
Right.
So, and as we age and as we're moving forward, there's days, we all experience that. I don't want to get up and go to the gym in the morning.
Right.
I don't want to get up and really do anything but just have some coffee and just kind of do my thing. But so, on days that you're not motivated to do anything, how do you feel about, trying to stay active? What would you advise about still exercising, being active,
How do you get
continued movement?
motivated?
Like, how do you get your butt up out of bed and get going? What would you offer on that?
Well, fear is a good motivator. And if you're afraid of aging and being frail and losing your independence
Right.
and not being the person you want to be, that's the best motivator ever to get up and get going and do something. I know it's my motivator. I see ladies on walkers and I see people with,
Mhm.
a lot of physical problems. And of course, you can't control everything. There are some things that are going to happen that you just have to learn to accept.
Mm-hmm.
But you can certainly stack the deck in your favor. You can certainly make sure that your odds are better for you to have a healthy later years, to be able to go into your senior years and still be fully engaged in life because you're healthy and you're strong and you're really active and actively engaged in your life.
Right. And I know that has to go along with, fear is a really good word too, because you don't need to be like scared, but it's just like you need to be, okay, I need to have some fear behind this. And I use that as motivation because like healthy fear is a great way of terming that. Because like I have a bum shoulder right now and a bum elbow. And I'm just like, okay, am I just going to let this sit or am I actually going to go get this worked on and just let me age out that way, But no, it's like, I'm going to go get this worked on because there's a lot of other things I want to do right now to remain active. So that's my motivation to get that done. But there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I got a hurt knee, nothing I can do about it. And they just limp around or let it get worse and worse and worse before you know it, they're in walker or a wheelchair or whatever.
Right.
So, and in terms of staying healthy and staying motivated and all that, let's talk about nutrition because that's very, very, very important. That's very important to me because in my later years when I was caregiving, my body broke down from stress. And the only way that I got through it at the very end of everything was through macrobiotic counseling. And I've been on a macrobiotic diet or lifestyle for a long time, and it involves a certain way of of eating throughout the seasons of the year, and it's actually helped me heal my body. But you do share go-to meals with your followers. So what advice do you have for implementing better nutrition into diets?
Well, I'm not a nutritionist, so I really can only speak from what I do and what
Okay.
has worked for me. For me, it's a lot of vegetables, fruits, no alcohol, a lot of fish, a lot of protein through fish or chicken or,
Do you keep
I don't
track of
really
that stuff, Candace, or do you just make it
know.
your goal to?
I used to actually, this is
Mhm.
I have years of books where I kept track of my exercise and what I ate because I wanted to personally experiment and see how much of a difference it would make
Mhm.
as I aged. And so I have years and years of diaries that tell me exactly what exercise, how long I exercised, what foods I ate, new things that I tried, things that worked, things that didn't work. And for me, what's worked the best has been not having red meat for me,
Mm-hmm.
getting my protein from other sources. I eat I mean, most people will put vegetables as a side. Vegetables are my main course, and then some protein and something else is my side. I've kind of reversed it my whole life. I would eat platefuls of vegetables. For me, so far, it's worked.
Yeah, it
um,
could be a generational thing too, because I mean, my dad, he grew up, or growing up, it was just steak and potatoes.
Well,
You
and
know, that was
now
like his thing, you
and now
know?
they tell us that we got to be eating protein like it's our full-time job. Like you've got to
Yeah,
eat like
right,
so
yeah,
much
right.
protein.
yeah,
That
that is,
worries me a little bit
Yeah.
yeah,
because, all of these things get trendy and they get kind of
yeah.
out of control. Of course, protein's important,
Mm-hmm.
but if you take anything to the extreme, it's not.
Mhm.
That old saying, everything in moderation. But
Yeah.
Moderation and
Well,
balance.
it
Yeah.
sounds like to me, based on the like your all your diaries and things that you kept for years, that you just really learned to listen to your own body.
yeah, that's true. I did because I was my own experiment. I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying out things, what made me feel good.
Let's talk about exercise a little bit. I've seen some of your videos. They're so great on Instagram. How can you talk about what regular exercise looks like for you and the value that you see in it?
Well, extreme value, because I really believe that if you don't find time for exercise, you're likely going to have to find time for illness.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Wow.
I like that.
That's a good one.
Exercise is the closest thing we're ever going to get to a fountain of youth. It changes everything. Completely changes how you age. And every study that I have read has proven that it doesn't matter when you start. They have shown fantastic progress in people in their 90s who start a slow,
Right.
gradual exercise
Mm-hmm.
program. It
Yeah.
does make a difference. And it's so important for people to understand that.
So what's your exercise routine?
Well, I have done a lot of different things over the years, everything from kickboxing to
Ooh.
yoga. But now at my age, I basically rotate 3 days of exercise. One day will be yoga, one day will be weights, and one day will be aerobic, and then I start over again. And recently, in the last 3 years, I think it is, I started the heavier weightlifting to
Mm-hmm.
get into heavier weights because it's sort of a fad thing now or a trend that you should be lifting heavier weights.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
From everything that, if you don't take it to the extreme, from everything that I've seen, it really does make a difference as far as maintaining your muscle and your definition and your overall health.
And your bone development, your bone
Bones.
density for
Most
Yeah.
sure.
that's yeah. I have osteoporosis, so that was the main reason
Oh,
that I
Mm-hmm.
decided I was going to really focus on this because
yeah.
I didn't want to take the drugs. I'm not a fan of taking drugs unless you absolutely need them. And I think they're hard on the body too. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, in some cases, the medicine is very important for many, many circumstances. But for a normal, healthy individual, if you don't have to take a medicine, if you can do it a natural way, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's better.
I
So I've
was,
always tried to go the natural route.
yeah. So do you do that every day and you just rotate 3-day cycles, or do you have a couple days off? Like how do
Well,
you?
no, I mean, I hardly ever take a day off.
Okay.
But I do use certain muscle sets one day by doing the yoga and then something
Yeah.
different when I do the heavier weights and then different when I do the aerobics. So that there's at least a day in there to rest the muscles that I had used the day before.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, and that that also keeps me from getting bored. I mean, it's nice to have a variety of exercise to do.
Well, one of the routine things that I'm really off on right now is meditation and yoga. And I know you love yoga, and because it's how it connects the mind and the body, and
Right.
especially meditating just calms everything
Hmm.
down for me. But can you actually talk about the benefits of yoga for us?
Oh, there are so, especially for older people, the benefits
Yeah.
of yoga are
Mm-hmm.
amazing because it's one thing that you can do that covers so many different aspects of your body: balance, strength, flexibility. I mean, you get that all in one package when you do a yoga practice, and the mindful benefits. I mean, I meditate too. So, I mean, it's probably if you're going to pick one thing to do, I would say it should be yoga and meditation.
Yeah, I agree because it's not intimidating. Yoga, I mean, it seems like it's intimidating to go to a yoga class, but it's not. It can be really gentle. A lot of some of my friends, they do a yin yoga,
Oh,
and
I
you're just
love
sitting on the
yin
floor
yoga.
the whole time, and you're just stretching, and it's
Hmm.
real easy flow, and it's real calm, and it helps in so many ways. So I would
Yeah.
encourage anybody to start yoga actually at any age, even
Hmm.
children, because it's so helpful because it calms so much inside.
Right.
And
I
there's
think,
a lot of great yoga instruction on YouTube.
That's where I
oh,
learned
yeah.
Yeah.
yoga. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally where I
definitely.
learned it. Yeah.
One of the things that I tell people or tell ladies, older ladies, is not to think you can walk right into a yoga class when you're 80 years old and be able to learn yoga. I think that's too much. I think it would be overwhelming, and I think there would be the potential of hurting yourself. You're in the yoga class with people that have been doing it for a long time. Yes, maybe it's a beginner level, but if you haven't hardly ever done any yoga and you walk in, you try to do a 30 or 45-minute class,
Hmm.
you're going
Yeah.
to hurt afterward and you're not going to want to
Yeah.
keep
You can
going
have you
on.
can have an injury. You can have an easy
Yeah.
injury
So
from that.
my philosophy as far as learning yoga at an older age is to learn one pose at a time,
Oh, that's
and
brilliant.
then put your poses together into your own flow. So I have a YouTube channel where I show people how to learn one yoga pose at a time. And I show them how to learn the pose, then I show them in other videos how to learn the pose with props, because it's
That's
easy to
great.
get into it if you learn it with props first. But then I tell them that get to the point where you can do 2 or 3 yoga poses easily, comfortably, feeling the stretch, feeling every part of your body that's moving, know that you're really in the position. Then put those poses together and then add on to that. Then,
Mm-hmm.
when you've got your little mini yoga flow created for yourself, then go and investigate a beginner class, because then you've got a little bit of knowledge of how your body reacts, you know what you're capable of doing already, and you won't jump in and accidentally hurt yourself.
Hmm. That's really good.
Yeah, because in those classes they go pretty fast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you need to go slow and really ease into it.
So beyond the flexibility benefits and the strength benefits, are there other benefits that you've experienced from yoga?
It it can completely change your attitude toward life.
Hmm.
Like you, I was a caregiver. My late husband was sick for almost 10 years.
Mm.
And in those last 5 years, it was very hard. He
Yeah.
had lost his kidneys through kidney disease and needed a transplant, got the transplant, rejected the transplant, went back on dialysis. We did the dialysis at home. So it was yoga and meditation that got me through that. I mean,
Wow.
I don't think I would have come out of it the person that I did if I hadn't spent just a little bit of time on myself. And that's what I always tell caregivers, that I think, and I don't know what I said. I think that if I hadn't done that, I would not have come through that the person that I am now, because I needed to spend a little bit of time keeping myself healthy,
Mm-hmm.
doing something for myself that would keep me strong and healthy so that I could help the person that I was
Hmm.
trying to help. And I always tell caregivers that if you give the person all that you've got now, you won't be able to be there for them when they need you the most.
Mm.
Not selfish. It's important that you stay strong in mind and in body so that you can be there for that person that you're trying to take care of.
Right.
Yeah, and that's Susie. No, we can vouch for that because
Yeah.
we experienced for as long as we did this. We put everybody else before us. I put my mom before me. I know you did that too.
Well,
My body broke
yeah, you
from,
especially. I was going to
yeah,
say, based on what I know of you, if you
yeah,
give everything you have to the person you're taking care of, when
right.
they're gone, you will hardly have anything left for yourself.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
And it
Yeah,
was a long
Yeah.
road to get back to just being at this point right now. And because I
yeah,
gave it all, now my body broke down.
Mhm.
So for caregivers that are listening right now that are in the thick of it, I mean, we stress that on the show.
Mhm.
You have to take care of yourself. Take time for yourself. It's so,
yeah.
so,
And
so important.
I think what keeps people from doing that is you have a feeling of guilt.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
You
that's
really
your favorite
feel
kind of
guilty
thing.
if you don't. If you do something for yourself, it seems like a terrible thing to do because you're
Yeah.
not suffering like that person is. You know, why
Right.
should you be allowed to exercise and meditate and be peaceful if this other person is struggling so much? You just want to help so much. It's really, really hard to get the mindset that you are helping if you're taking care of yourself. You're
Right.
helping them a lot so you can be there for them.
So if a person like how was in Roy's situation or my situation where they're taking care of a loved one at home or for whatever other reason they might not be able to get to a fancy gym, if they have like a small space or just wanting to try to do something at home because they feel intimidated, what would you say is the place that they should begin? I know you mentioned your videos sound like a great way to start yoga. Are there other ideas that you have of where people can begin to incorporate some healthy movement into their lives?
Well, I don't think that you have to go to a gym. I've never gone to a gym in all my years. I can't say never. I joined them and then ended up not going and continued.
I don't know what that's like at all.
So, as far as incorporating into the day, I think they need to try to find a little space of time that's just theirs. And, whether it's time to read a book or doing yoga or sewing or doing something creative, don't give that up. Keep that in your day because that's so important. That's where you're taking care of yourself. And then the basics you have to try to eat right. It's not always easy when you're trying to take care of somebody else first. And I realized that if it's exercise, find a little corner in your house, find a corner of your bedroom or a corner of a guest room where you can put down a yoga mat. It doesn't take a lot of room. You don't have to have a lot of room.
So, yeah, you talked about nutrition, you talked about yoga and exercise and attitude. And I'm listening to you talk and watching you on the screen, and I'm marveling because and you say it all the time on Instagram that you're 79 years old and you are sharp as a tack. So, like, how is all of that also contributing to you? Are you doing anything else outside of those things, I guess is what I'm wondering, to keep yourself mentally sharp?
Outside of eating right and
Yeah, all the
exercise.
things that we exercised.
I'm a painter. I'm a watercolorist.
Okay.
I think creativity, having I think that sometimes as people get older, they have this low level sense of dissatisfaction and they're not
Mhm.
sure what is wrong in their life. They may have from the outside this perfect life. They've got beautiful grandchildren. They've got all the money they could need. They've got, 2 homes, whatever it is. There can still be this low level sense of dissatisfaction that they may not know what's missing. But I think in many cases, what's missing is a sense of accomplishment.
Mhm.
We spend all of our lives accomplishing all of our goals and doing all these things that we wanted to achieve. And then all of a sudden you're older and you're to this age where you're supposed to just sit back now and relax and enjoy it. But I think in most cases, people still need accomplishment and creativity in their lives to feel satisfied.
Yeah.
And I think creativity is very important. And I love painting. So I think that the satisfaction that you get and the feeling of accomplishment that you get from having a creative project can be really valuable to older people.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, aging can sometimes create some fear around losing independence. And, I think when you mention like losing purpose and things like that, I think some of that comes with a fear of losing independence. So how can people shift their mindset around that when it comes to like fitness and movement? Like how do those things work together?
Well, I think it goes back to knowing that you have some control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not necessarily going to be frail or incapacitated. The percentage, and I don't have it right off the top of my head right now, but it's surprisingly low, the people that do become completely incapacitated. And the people that get dementia. I mean, I think we hear so
Yeah.
much about this kind of thing that we think, oh my gosh, 75% of the older people are losing their
Yeah.
minds. And in truth, it's not. If you go just with the facts and the statistics, the majority of people do just fine. And you do even better if you keep your mind active, your body and your mind active.
Right.
So people need to understand two things. You may not be able to function and do all the things that you used to be able to do when you're at an older age. I can't do some of the yoga poses I used to do when I was in my 30s. I can't do some other things that I used to be able to do. The problem is that people stop doing them then because they can't do them as well as they used to do them. When in reality, they should be thrilled they can still do them and still get joy out of them and do the best they can do at that age.
Mm-hmm.
You have to let the resentment that you're aging go. You have to
Right.
let it go. You know, you
Yeah.
have to, if you spend your later years being angry that you're aging, you're never going to enjoy your later years. And I think that's so sad because I think my later years are great.
Right. Yeah. And they are. They could be a lot of fun, and you're experiencing a lot of fun. And my mom really, as much as she went through, she really did enjoy her later years, and so did her sisters, and all of that. So it could be a lot of fun. I mean, my
Yeah.
friend Virginia, who's 70 now, she's went out 5 nights in a row just recently, down to downtown, went to Roberts, went to the Grand Ole Opry, and was doing all these things, staying out till midnight every night. And I was like, what's going on with you, party girl? She's just having a grand old time. She's loving it, So yeah, you just got to embrace it and roll with it. But I want to ask you though, so as far as like in the aging journey when it comes to family members, I'm sure people have asked you like how, as far as like supporting when it comes to aging loved ones and their aging journey, like how do family members can like if I were to be, if you were helping me with my mom, like, how can you help me support my mom in her aging journey?
As far as someone who's healthy, I would say to enjoy your aging journey by trying new things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only giving up the expectations you had of yourself when you were younger, but it's realizing that you are not the same person that you used to be, but in a really good way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the same person I was yesterday. And someone in their 70s compares themselves to what they were in their 50s. That's a bad idea because they forget they have gained so much in all these years. They're not the same person they used to be. That's true. They're in many ways, they're a better person. They're smarter. They're not going to make the same mistakes they made when they were younger. They've gained a lot of knowledge. They've gained skills. They've gained so many things that they now can take advantage of in their aging journey.
So for family members listening, they need to encourage and constantly encourage their parents as they move along in their aging journey. That'd be the
Help them find new
yeah.
avenues, new outlets for whatever their interest and intellect is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's probably a lot of things they may not think of because they just don't realize they're capable.
Exactly.
But imagine the sense of satisfaction and joy that someone who's struggling with life or struggling with an illness, the joy they would get out of finding something that they can do really well now.
Mm-hmm. And they have that support.
It can be something very small.
Yeah.
So, Candace, you are fabulous in so many ways, and you bring your modeling background into your channel, and you have a high value for good fashion and feeling good in your clothes and all of that. How do you think that all, like style and fashion, how do you feel like that connects to aging well?
Well, I think, like we talked before, a lot of women, especially when they get older, think they don't need to bother anymore. They don't need to bother putting on makeup. They don't need to worry about their clothes. They're too old to wear the styles that the younger people are wearing.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't realize is that changes their attitude internally about themselves. They think, women tell me that they feel irrelevant. They feel like no one pays attention to them, but really, maybe it's because they're not paying attention to themselves anymore.
Mm.
And I think that fashion these days for older women, there's so much more than there used to be. There are so many different avenues and different styles, and it used to be that there was one skirt length that was in
Yeah.
style. My mother was, I remember, oh, skirts this year are here, or skirt. Now you can wear a maxi, you can wear a midi, can wear a short skirt, you can wear whatever you want. You can create your own style and you can adjust it to your age and mostly to what you feel good in. That's the most important thing.
That's awesome.
So many older people will say they don't feel connected. They don't feel like they belong in the world anymore. And I think without knowing that they're doing it,
Hmm.
they are deliberately stepping back from the current world. That all multiplies to the point that you become that person that has taken those steps back from the current world that you live in. And it's really important as you age to stay engaged in the world. Social interaction, staying engaged in the world, knowing what's going on. You don't have to love the new music, but you should at least try to understand a little bit about it.
Yeah.
I have to say that my dad was one of the people that I admire most in the world. When he was 92 years old, he could tell you the newest rock star. He could tell you the newest rapper. He read about them.
That's awesome.
He didn't necessarily like it, but he wanted to know what was going on. He just had this curiosity. So I would say an older person should not give up their curiosity. They should still stay connected to the current world. Be curious about it. You don't have to approve it. You don't have to approve of everything. Be curious about why it's happening.
Yeah,
That's a good
learning is
word.
very important. And we're here to constantly learn, and
Mhm.
that's when you kind of put a stop to it, then you become grumpy,
Yeah.
irritated. So how has your definition of beauty or confidence changed as you've gotten older?
How has my idea of beauty changed as I've gotten older?
And
Uh,
confidence.
Confidence. Well, confidence, actually, both have to come from inside of you. Obviously, we've heard for years, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And it's your eyes that you're looking at the world and yourself through. So, my definition of beauty now is someone who, when you're in their presence, you feel good. When you're in their presence, the vibes that you're feeling are vibes that lift you up. That person is really beautiful. That person is putting out good vibrations into the world. That person is making other people around them feel good about themselves. That's beauty to me.
Great answer.
I love that.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
every once in a while you come across somebody in life that, when you get to know them, you're just getting to know them, there's something special about them.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel that way about you. Well, goodness, thank you, Candace, for joining us today. It was so lovely to meet you and to hear all of your wisdom and your insight. It was really, really great.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on here. I love talking about the aging and attitudes toward aging, and it was delightful to meet both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure to meet you. And before you go, please tell everyone where they can learn about you and your work. So a little plug-in about yourself would be great.
Well, it's really easy. Every one of my social media platforms is under the same name of Life in My 70s. So if they Google Life in My 70s, they'll see my YouTube channel, they'll see my Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, um, Facebook, all of them. And they're all dealing with how you look at aging. That is my whole reason for doing this. I love doing the fashion, but my whole reason for doing this is, like I said earlier, to change people's attitudes toward aging. And so hopefully that if people go to my social channels, they'll see fashion, they'll see exercise, but hopefully they'll see a new way to look at aging.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing all of that because it's important and it's needed. So I love that you have all this available.
Yeah. Thank you, Candace. We appreciate you being here and helping us better understanding what it means to age well.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
I think one of the biggest takeaways from today is how Candace stressed attitude. And attitude is so important to how we're aging as we move forward. And what really hit for me was talking about yoga and meditation because that changes your attitude a lot
Mm-hmm.
and it calms things down and it's so important as we age, because there's certain things that we can't do anymore, but having the right attitude moving forward will help you get further down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I also really loved what she had to say about beauty and confidence and how that the idea of those things have shifted for her as she's gotten older, and how it's so much of it comes from within, and your beauty and confidence is experienced by the people around you. And so, she thinks of beautiful people as people that she wants to be around, that make her feel good. And that's so countercultural.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's so good.
I thought it was fantastic. And if this conversation connected with you, we would love to hear your story.
So please text us at 833-473-9898.
The views and opinions shared in this episode are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Brookdale Senior Living. This content is for informational purposes only and isn't intended as financial or medical advice or an endorsement of any position or product discussed. Always talk to a qualified professional before making decisions about your health, finances, or the care or finances of a loved one based on something you've heard in this program. Brookdale is not responsible for the accuracy or completeness of the information shared.